I know this energy gets very strong, and often many of the questions we have are answered. And I ask, if anyone has a question, because when people have questions, it always adds a dimension to the meditation place. Please try and sit still. Okay. It's not only for you, it's for everybody. If you move, if you fidget, if you play with your computer, it it simply disrupts the entire energy of the meditation class. And part of the discipline of this meditation is truly learning how to sit still. I mean, there's nothing fanatical. I mean, if you were doing Zazen, you'd have to sit still for 12 hours. And if you moved, somebody'd hit you over the head with a stick. But it's really important because the vibration builds up. The vibration gets very, very strong. The Shakti, the energy gets very strong. And if people move, it disrupts that balance. It really cuts right through it. I mean, Rudy used to say this over and over in meditation class. Please try and sit still. If your mind is focused below the navel, in that chakra, you'll have no trouble sitting still. My goal isn't to be a hard ass here. It's just to have a class in which every single person that comes really benefits. And that requires group effort, so that everybody in this class takes away something important for their life. Does anyone have a question?
Hey, Stuart.
Yes.
I'm wondering about keeping the heart open. Recently, my heart's finally felt like it's really opening the way it's never done before. And how do I hold on to that openness?
Well, you know the other, right? So just be grateful, Ben. Be grateful and understand your heart can open, your heart can close. But through a continuum of deep meditation practice, you build a chakra system that's strong enough to keep your heart open. And gratitude is a really big part of it. And we all have to be grateful for, I mean, look, I remember what I was like just before I met Rudy. And Hallie, please don't move. Please. Thank you. I remember what I was like right before I met Rudy. And the simple thought of ever going back to being that way does nothing but open my heart with absolutely profound gratitude for what's happened to my life. But it took years of working to build a system inside that was strong enough to do this. You can't be in your head, you have to be focused below the navel. If you're in your head, your heart is going to close up. The mind has to be quiet. The heart has to be quiet. Sexual energy has to be quiet. And you have to be focused in the area where there's real strength inside you, and that's right below the navel. And getting the training to be able to keep your attention there that's 90% of the battle right there. You build a system that can keep your heart open. The bullshit of the world doesn't bother you. It doesn't get you crazy. People's problems and their tension and their righteousness and opinions just bounces right off you. But that is part of developing the craft of meditation. You use the mind and the breath, tools of meditation, to build that kind of system. And the incredible thing is, everybody has chakras, everybody has a mind, everybody breathes. It's just a matter of learning how to use these tools so that they develop a chakra system that gives you the capacity to have a spiritual life. But even before a spiritual life, it gives you the capacity to function here on the highest level of what it means to be a human being. It takes training, it takes time. And one has to need it so deeply, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. So Rudy do whatever it took to get it. I couldn't believe my eyes, the things he used to do in order to get his spiritual training. He never put it off. And he'd go to places he didn't really want to go, that were a nightmare for him, because he told me that particular teacher is the only person he's ever met in his life who can break him down. And by having gotten broken down, he had only one place to go. He had to go to God.
So, Stuart, can you hear me? This is Carol.
Yes, I hear you.
Um, so being broken down or a challenging situation, is that the best way to view it?
Yes. I didn't have Rudy. Rudy passed on. He took a samadhi. And I had to use life as a replacement for Rudy. And I took upon my shoulders literally impossible situations. Impossible situations. When I think about it, I say, oh my God, Stuart, you were crazy. But doing what I did taught me that the only place I could get the energy to enable me to do these things was to go to a higher place inside myself. And the only way I knew how to get there was the use of this meditation practice. I mean it, I've been doing it most of my life. Now it's a little bit easier. I'm not a kid anymore, but when I was in my 40s and 50s and 60s, my God, the stuff I used to do in order to, sit down and use my life as a way of truly developing my connection with God. I mean, we live in a world where everybody's looking for the easiest way out. The easiest way out is to take full responsibility for learning how to grow and dealing with pressures. Rudy used to say, a diamond is a product of, 50,000 years of pressure. And when people can take that pressure and transform it into a diamond inside themselves, they connect with God. They have learned how to use their karma to grow and connect with higher energy in the universe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm not trying to come down on people or make everybody's life harder, you know. I'm just saying that this is an incredible way to grow. And I tell you what it's done for my life. It's turned my life into the most interesting imaginable adventure. Even today, you know, I was telling Jennifer, I got to generate a great deal of money because I want to move out of this apartment. So I'm taking upon myself something that I know how to do, which is the art business. And it's an adventure, treasure hunting. But it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of money and it's a lot of risk, you know, and it's a lot of pressure. And I'm enjoying it. And I'm also enjoying that my entire apartment is changing. All the things that are being coming here, decorating the whole place has changed. I hope this is clear. I'm not trying to make anybody's life harder, but I just know from my experience the things I took on myself. I mean, running ashrams and businesses and traveling all over the world. And, you know, I mean, it was, you know, it was incredible. I always used to wonder, how do you do this, Stuart? And then I knew. I sat down, I got the spiritual energy. And Hallie, please, you know, you have to sit still. You know, I don't want to come down on you. I'm not trying to bug you. I'm just asking you to please sit still. I mean, if do you know the double breathing exercise? Yeah, okay. Then just stay centered in the chakra below. You won't have to move and fidget. Okay. I want you to really benefit from this fully and 100%, you know? And if you're moving, you're not going to benefit from it. Does anyone else have a question they would like to raise?
Stuart, I have a question, Bob Sink.
Yes, Bob.
Can you explain what that means to being broken down?
You know, we all build this kind of like, it's like a fortress of defense mechanisms inside ourselves, ways that we think are going to protect us from life. There's a lack of trust. There's, you know, it's like Joshua hit the battle of Jericho and all the walls come down. I mean, basically, that story in the Bible is a symbol of that we build all of these walls, these defense mechanisms, everything, you know, inside ourselves that keeps us from truly, you know, connecting with God. It all has to be broken down. And everybody has it. I can't be that unique. You know, I've had it. I still have things I have to break down. I watch Rudy breaking himself down every day. I see myself breaking myself down every day, not allowing my energy to get stagnant, not allowing my energy to, you know, I mean, it's a simple metaphor. You know, when a brook flows down the side of a mountain, anybody can drink the water. Once it becomes a lake, you know, all it attracts is vermin and, you know, disease, and you can't drink the water. So we need to learn to be a brook flowing down the side of the mountain by breaking down all of the places in ourselves that are dammed up. And one of the ways that we can do it is allow the pressures of life to teach us to go deep enough in ourselves to where we can truly build a system that can transform all those pressures into a spiritual life. But as long as we have those walls of fence in us, spiritual life is not possible. So this meditation is about learning to do this. I mean, the only person any human being is up against on this planet is themselves. It's nobody out there's fault. We're up against ourselves. And once we get free of ourselves, we can deal with anything. That takes getting broken down. You got to get free of yourself. I practice that every day, getting free of myself, having humility, having a certain humbleness about the way I approach my life today. I didn't do this 20 years ago. And it's all changed. And I understand how important that is. Just humility, gratitude, and never thinking I've ever arrived. Or becoming righteous about what I do. Got to break yourself down. We all have this. We carry it around with us. The image we have of ourselves needs to be broken down. As I've said in one of my tantra things, a saint's got to, if a saint wants to be enlightened, they've got to surrender their sainthood. If a guru wants to be enlightened, he's got to surrender his gurudom, A criminal wants to be enlightened, he's got to surrender his criminality. We got to get free of ourselves, whatever we are. It all is going to go anyway at some point. And as we get closer to that point, we need to learn how to be in a deeper state of surrender so that we become children of God. We become servants of God. Not servants of our ego, our opinions, what we think is right or wrong, what we believe. I mean, I've gotten to the place, I don't know what the hell I believe anymore. All I know is if I stay open, this energy guides my life and it makes everything work, including the things that don't work. I hope that's clear, I mean, it's such an important element, and certainly what I learned from Rudy, being around him as much as I was around him, what I learned and what I saw him go through and how he worked on himself. I mean, at this point in my life, to do 7, 8 of these meditation classes a week, I mean, I have to have the energy of a 25-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old to do this. Where am I going to get that energy? I can't create blocks to keep that energy from flowing. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Bob. Bob, you're doing very well. I remember, Bob, when I first saw you come to the ashram, and I see you today, and it's a wonderful miracle, Bob. It's a wonderful miracle. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And I know Rudy remembered me he always used to tell me, I'll never take another student like you again. He always told me this. I said, Rudy, you know what I'm really grateful for? He said, why? I said, I made the cut. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, God bless you all. Thank you. I keep telling you all, I come here because you all are my teacher. Your presence in these classes is making me grow so much, and I have nothing but gratitude to each and every one of you that comes. So God bless you all, and thank you. And there'll be a class Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. If you're happen to be in, Stanford, Connecticut on Saturday evening, I have a meditation class in person. If you want to fly in from California, it's all right. So God bless you all. And thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody soon.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Good night.